All right, Tai. So you are a investor, partner, advisor to, what you said, over 20 multi-million-dollar companies.
All these guys.
You have this online, all these guys. You have this brand, right? Where maybe a lot of people here are like me. Never heard of you one day. I can't click on a YouTube ad.
And they can't get rid of me. It's true. The other day, Rome was here. We went to Laugh Factory, and I can't post where I am now on Snapchat because when I walk out the door, there'll be a mob of people waiting for me. And but I made the mistake. I posted the Laugh Factory, and then we walked out to the car. Sure enough, I always know people running across the street. Tai.
So you just look at those two primary things. You look at.
Yeah, but let me finish the story. You'll like the story. It's a good story for your podcast. These two kids go, Tai, we're 15 and 18. And we knew you were going to be here, so we drove all the way out here to meet you. I was like, oh, wow. Where'd you drive from? They're like, Iowa. Nah, man, dude. At the Laker game, two games ago, 3 kids came up to me and were like, dude, all our friends. Google did a survey. About 75% of people in America under 25 know my name. And they said, man, we follow all your stuff. I bought an app for $4,000 3 months ago, 1 year ago. I rebranded it. Now I made $600,000 net in 3 months. I said, how old are you? He said, just turned 18, man. So always be loved by who you want to be loved, and always be hated by your enemies, because they're your enemies. And the enemies are the ignorance in the world. Sometimes you're your own enemy. So I like to be loved by the good people. Fuck the rest. There we go.
So you were doing an interview with my buddy Joel
Yes.
from Addicted Success. So
Yeah.
you're talking about, I think his name was Alan, your mentor that would read a book before breakfast. And you
Yes.
say, Alan has a photographic memory. Then you say, I don't have a photographic memory.
Right.
Do you think that people are predisposed to certain traits that they can't change? Where like cell biologist Bruce Lipton, right, talks about epigenetic and you
Yes.
can change. I just noticed you said, I can't do that. I don't
Yeah.
have that personality type. Do you have the mental power in order to change that? Or do you think people are stuck with certain personalities?
So, I mean, the old nature versus nurture has been argued. Science now is finding it's much more nurture. Like you said, epigenetics, your genes can express things. Obviously, look, Kobe Bryant's 6'6". Okay? You got a propensity to be able to play basketball. That's nature. But there's lots of 6'6" people that can't play basketball like Kobe. At the end of the day, control what you can control. And like I said, fuck the rest. If you have a relatively low IQ, Warren Buffett said, good news, as long as you're about 120, he goes, you can sell the rest. You can still become a millionaire. He has a high IQ. You might not be able to be the next Warren Buffett, but Boz Rutan's here, and I like what Boz said. Boz is like, he's competing for himself. So if you're living for yourself and your goals, then if you can't remember the whole book, is that your goal, to have a photographic memory? No, I read books because it helps me live a better life. So as long as I can read a book and remember enough stuff, then I'm accomplishing my goal. The goal should never be to brag and show off. Even though I have Ferraris and Lamborghinis, just remember, if I was the last man on the planet, if I was Will Smith and it was one of his, it was me and a dog, first thing I do is go to a Ferrari and Lamborghini dealership because they're fun to drive. So you want to do things for self-actualized reasons. You want to read to self-actualize for yourself. If you don't have a photographic memory, then train a little bit and you'll get better at reading. And my dad was supposed to be dead at 12 years old. He was born with some heart problems in Harlem. And doctors said, don't exercise, you're gonna kill told his parents, my grandparents, don't let him exercise. At about 13 or 14, he heard of this new thing called bodybuilding. This is back in the 50s, before it was big. He just picked up weights, he started training, and he became one of the top pro bodybuilders in the world. So for the most part, you can overcome your challenges. If you're not that good at reading, you can usually train yourself out of it.
So speaking, tie-in, you said your dad was bodybuilder, tying to Arnold. That's how I read Arnold's biography, Arnold Schwarzenegger's, was from you suggesting.
Oh, really? Awesome.
What is your biggest personality trait takeaway from that?
From Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, from reading the biography.
That good parents reprogram their kids' minds. And all of us had parents that did some good and some bad. Doesn't matter about the past. In the future, anybody in your responsibility when they're real young, try to reprogram their mind. It's actually interesting. The Rock, I read an article about The Rock. When his dad was little, when he was little, his dad used to bring him to the gym because his dad was like a wrestler. And his dad would never let him train, which of course when you're 5 and your dad takes you to the gym and he's like, this is only for adults, that makes you really want to train. But his dad wouldn't let him. But he says now when he hears the clanging of weights, he gets like a nostalgic thing. He's like, I'm going to go in the gym and I love the gym. So his dad reprogrammed his mind, and that's why he looks like The Rock. And Warren Buffett's parents, Steven Spielberg's parents, Steven Spielberg, Warren Buffett, they started at 7 years old making movies for Spielberg, and their parents reprogrammed their brain to do that. So that's what I took away. Arnold Schwarzenegger's dad used to say, you can't eat breakfast till you do 5 push-ups, which made Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's called Pavlovian response. You do 5 push-ups, you get food. That's genius. The school system, and this is what's wrong with the school system, it's anti-Pavlovian. So the school system is...
By Pavlovian, do you mean you working for reward versus will? Okay,
so Pavlov was the Russian scientist who basically took dogs. Every time he rang a bell, he'd give them food. The dogs would get all excited. Then he said, let me not give them food, ring the bell, and he found they still started slobbering. Humans we ain't that much smarter than dogs. In fact, sometimes I act stupider than some dogs I've had. And so when it comes to us, when you go to school in the conventional school system, I don't care if it's private school or public school, they're all pretty much doing the same thing. You tell people, read a book. Now, where's the reward? The reward is you get to take a test. Oh, no, that's pain. You can't say read a book and then your reward is pain. Imagine if The Rock or Arnold Schwarzenegger parents go, all right, here's what you do. You go in the gym, once you lift weights, I spank you. No, but that's what you're doing with the modern education system. My friend, there was a guy at my house, I had a party, and he comes up, he goes, Tai, you don't know me, I'm a school teacher here in the inner city, in the ghetto here in Los Angeles. And he said, craziest thing happened. This kid who's been in and out of juvenile delinquency was walking down the hall with a business book. He was like 14, 15. And I went up to him and I was like, you're reading? Because this kid's been in and out of jail. And he said, yeah, man, there's this dude on the internet who says if I read this, I get a Lamborghini. So I ain't the most hated man by that kid. But the point is, that's Pavlovian response. And you got to do that with yourself.
Talk to me about how you would set up a goal, right? You're talking about how our school almost unconsciously teaches us to set up these goals that are based off of will.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how it would look to set up a goal that's based off of reward as opposed to will.
Well, like I said, I don't know all the answers. I don't want to disrespect educators and people who spend their whole life studying how to educate. But it doesn't take, I don't have to be a genius to find what's not working. You don't have to be that smart. You see a super fat person that's always on a diet, you can go up to him without a medical degree and be like, I don't think you should do that diet anymore, dude. You're getting fatter. So when I look at the education system, I don't have all the answers. But if I had to, if there was a gun to my head, how would I change it?
How would you set up the reward-based goal? How does that look?
So the reward-based goal would be like, show Warren, I think you should teach now with a lot more video versus teachers. I'd rather learn investing, not from a teacher, but from like Warren Buffett. He made $300 billion company. So I would do a lot more teaching with just video screens, and I would accompany it with their life. So I would pop up a video in finance class for a whole bunch of seniors in high school. And I would start the video with Warren Buffett getting out of his jet, private jet, or Larry Ellison on his yacht, buzzing around Cannes with movie stars and all that. And then I'd be like, you know how he got there? Well, he figured out 3 rules of investing. Now, you mark my words. Nobody's stupid. Kids aren't stupid. They're usually much smarter than you think. People will pay attention. And that's why people watch the Kardashians, because it's full of reward. One of the Kardashians was actually sitting by me at the Laker game yesterday. That was 2 of them? Oh, that was Kendall and Kylie Jenner, the most popular people on the planet. Because they show themselves on their Snapchats like, oh, we got this purse, and oh, we have this. Now, they forget to put the education part into it. Kardashians forgot to complete the circle. But that's how I would do it. I would show the story along with the lesson. You can't just teach. You have to inspire.
What would you say when we're talking about in the education system, what would you say is the biggest unconventional thing not taught about how to earn money for a young person?
Just that subject's not touched. For some reason, sometimes I want to get to educators and go, you know what year it is, right? We're not in 1742. This is 2016. Welcome to planet Earth. What do you wish? And I always go, you know, I'm not that religious, but one of the great teachings that has ever been taught on planet Earth was the golden rule. So I would just ask the teacher, what do you wish you had been taught by the time you were 18? I remember learning the California state bird, okay? And then, so at 18, I knew the California state bird. As an adult, I learned about investing money. What I would rather have happened is when I was young, I learned how to invest. And at 40, I learned what the California state bird is. You always teach in order of priority. So I would say kids should learn, and you also have to look at the physiology and the biology of the brain. When you're very young, there's some things you can learn that you can never learn again. Languages. So it's a tragedy that everybody doesn't know 5 languages. Europeans do, Americans hardly know English. So I would do that. When you're young, you're very healthy, so you should spend a tremendous amount of time moving around. And now some schools have 5 minutes or something, or 15 minutes of PE. Musical instruments you can pick up very quickly. And then I would have people, my simple rule that's somewhat controversial, maybe this will make me hated, it's a simple rule. Whatever you think and Alan Nation, my second mentor, used to say, the most accurate goal that you should follow is usually the one you wanted to do between 10 and 14. People are very smart. Your IQ peaks at 14. It's been proven over and over again by Alfred Binet, who invented the IQ system, and modern science. I would ask 10 to 14-year-olds, what's your best guess you want to do? And I would start them right then. I call it straight to your goal approach to life. Straight line is the best way to live.